Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night, the podcast that deals with the early life of J.R. Hendrick. And now, a special episode recording of J.R.'s father on talk radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the Truth Radio is here. Welcome to the Grace MacArthur Show. Here we go. The Madam of Policy, Grace MacArthur.
Sounds like Grace Arthur here. I'm talking here to Public Liaison Director for Small Business Administration, James Ryan Hendrick. We are in the air bound from New Orleans, handling some business matters. Jim, how are you today?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good. You as well? My question is this. The Clinton administration seems to be myopic and clouded about its policies. Could you care to explain?
It's pretty obvious. When the powers that be seem to be more focused on the crime bill. Don't get me wrong. I'm opposed to crime. But the banning of assault weapons and further gun control is not going to solve the crime problem. I'll tell you something. Back in the mid-'80s, I decided to put my boys in prep schools to avoid the crime wave in public schools. Because back in the 80s, high schools started carrying metal detectors. I did not want that for my son. Prep schools involve a prestigious admission. If you get in on scholarship, that means you have stellar academic credentials. And to be honest with you, my boys, JR joined the Reese Prep Academy back in 1984, and his brother Kyle joined in 1989, and both had reasonable stellar records. Kyle was always artistic and athletic. He got in at the scholarship at Milton Prep in Midland. And my son got in on academic distinction in 1984. I know it can be a hard decision, but if you want to solve crime, how about character education? Less gun control.
Come on, please.
More character education.
Hand it to me.
I'll be honest.
Hand it to me.
I support wholeheartedly about maybe 65% of that crime bill. But a lot of it is just more spending and more fluff than people can care to know and people can care to remember.
What are the issues that you think that they should be focused on more?
They should be focused more on the economy. Clinton ran in 1992 vowing to improve the economy, and I supported him for that reason. But sadly, for the first 11 months, he wanted to play political tiddlywinks instead of improving the economy. It got worse. As his behavior became more and more scandalous with Whitewater and the issues with Paula Jones.
Do you have any knowledge of those things?
No, none at this time. I think now would not be a good time for me to have such knowledge. I'd like to be able to stay in power in D.C., but I'm not willing to utterly destroy that vestige.
But you think the economy should be?
Yes. And some conservatives think that needs to be changed through, well, massive tax cuts. I agree. Spending cuts. I'm going to be honest with you. I support spending cuts, but I think that's going to cause more kudzu in the political tiddlywinks games next year. I think that the economy needs further work. It's improved somewhat since Clinton's election in many ways, but
not good enough.
Not good enough. There's still issues with access to communications, access to education. Now I know that in the
last general meeting, Erskine Bowles agreed as outgoing administrator he would increase spending on the access to education. How effective do you think that's going to be?
The only way that's going to have any effectiveness is if we take from something else. And if you ask me, I think we need to take away from some of the emphasis on the crime bill and some of the emphasis on Planned Parenthood. And I know that's going to tick some people off, but, well, what can I say? It's the way the ball bounces. And if you think that the majority of the American people are going to believe in an unbiased media and liberal causes, then you believe the tooth fairy is going to fart some chocolate for your kids on Easter.
Here's another question. Do you think Clinton has done a fair enough job on small business?
No. He promised he would. But I have to be as bluntly honest with you as he can. He has not. Bush has made some great strides, but I don't think he would have done nearly as good as maybe, say, Reagan. That's being honest. And Clinton, I hate to say it, but with Clinton, absolutely nothing. He's all talk and he's all mouth.
No doubt. What would you recommend would be done at this point?
Well, I think one of the initiatives that I am considering when I come back next week is, and I know this is one thing that's going to kick off Clinton, is faith-based initiatives. Nonprofits and churches and everything that can help the poor start small businesses.
But yet Clinton has put in what's known as a economic care package attached to welfare reform that's meant to do the same thing.
Here's the problem with that. With that attached, there is no way welfare reform is going to have bipartisan support. Now, one thing that I have learned this week in Washington on Monday is that Dick Gephardt is making a motion that amendment be placed before the House floor and potentially for it to be killed by both parties, so that welfare reform goes back to the way it should be for both houses of Congress to consider.
Do you think it'll pass?
I think welfare reform is Clinton's long-term project. I think he'll probably sign it sometime before the 96th election, at which time I'm hoping maybe I can get to the bottom of some of this.
And there you have it, folks. Jim Hendrick on the Grace MacArthur Show.
We hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying, until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It's going to get very interesting from here.